Okay, the next tool we have in our arsenal in Photoshop is the rubber stamp tool. I love this tool. It is probably one of the best tools Photoshop's ever done. It allows us to eliminate things by using the surrounding areas to cover it. It also allows us to take a pattern and copy that pattern over and over and over again, or copy something that's next to an item to cover an item. And that might sound a little confusing, but let me show you what I mean. This is the rubber stamp tool. You'll notice it says clone stamp. We have a pattern stamp here if we want to use a pattern, but we're going to use the clone stamp. This is also based on your brushes. Now, depending on what kind of effect you're trying to get, oftentimes the best brush that we're going to use, especially when it comes to skin tones, are going to be brushes that have the feathered edges. It's going to give us a nice smooth look. When we're looking at patterns, and I'll show you what I mean by that, when we're looking at trying to copy a pattern or copy a piece of an image to another location, you may just want to use the hard edges. But in this case, for what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and use the feathered edge brush. Also, I want to think about what size brush I want to use. Sometimes it might be better to use a bigger brush, and sometimes it might not be. So we'll talk about that. In this case, what I've done is I've selected a feathered edge, a brush with softer edges, and I'm going to use 24. I've selected my rubber stamp, and I'm going to zoom in because I want to be as detailed as possible. Now this might be too close, and I'll just hit Control minus, and it'll take me out a little bit. The way to use the rubber stamp is to select, I'm going to remove this mole. To get the best effect, I'm going to try and use the surrounding area closest to the mole because I want as realistic skin tone as possible, yet I don't want it to look as though I've doctored the photo in any way. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold the Alt key down and you'll get this image. It looks like a set of crosshairs. This is the area selection that you're going to use that's going to replace this mole right here. So the mole is the brush is this size. I'm going to select something on this side. The reason I'm not going to select anything over here is because I've got some highlights here. I've got a piece of hair, and then anything out here is not going to look natural. So I'm going to try and select in this general area. The smaller the brush, the more likely I'm going to get a realistic look. So this is a pretty good size brush, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to select this. I'm going to hold the Alt key down, hit my mouse, and this is the area now that will be used when I select this. So I'm going to hit my left mouse button, and notice that little crosshair came up right here. Let me show you that again. That little crosshair came up, and that showed me that that was the area that it was selecting. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now watch. I have that little cross. I selected this area over here. Watch what happens when I select this. Well, what it's done is it selects the area in reference to your circle. Okay, so I had a real small area here. I didn't select way over here and say, oh, if I select here and I go, okay, look, notice what happens? I want to select the area closest to me. So what it did was I said, oh, I want to select over here and then I'm going to use it here. Not a good idea. That's not going to work. On this mole, we'll do the same thing. I want to get something close and realistic. Again, if I select over here, I hold the Alt key down, I select that area, hit left mouse click, and then I come all the way over here. Where's it going to take the image from or the pattern? Way over here. I don't want that. So watch. There it is. That's not going to match. In fact, it's going to look even worse. It's going to look maybe like she has cancer or something, so that's not going to work. I want to select the area closest to the area I'm trying to transform. So I'm going to hold the Alt key down, left mouse click, come here, and select. And the idea isn't to make it look like you've fixed it. You want it to look as realistic as possible. I can do this for all our moles. I just have to decide what is it I'm trying to achieve here. Okay, I'm going to come here, and actually I'm going to come up here. Notice how this color is more in line here. If I come down here, it's too flesh tone. This is a little yellower, and that's what I want it to look. The closer to the area I'm trying to fix, the better my progress. Okay, now notice what happened there. I didn't quite finish all of it because I only got barely over it. So I'm going to go back. Here's what happened. I went here and selected, and I kind of went closer, but I didn't get right on it. And that's what I really want to pay attention. Okay, maybe I want to notice what's going to happen here. I'm going to take this pattern, hit Alt, and then I'm going to come over here and notice now as I start to go down the necklace, it's giving me the pattern. It's duplicating the pattern of her necklace. And anywhere I go, it's going to give me her necklace. I'm staying about the same amount of distance away. I'm eyeballing it. Notice that I'm replicating the necklace. Now I'm going to run into a little problem because, oh, I have a mouse there. Not what I want. So if I wanted to come in here and keep stepping backward, remember Control Alt Shift or Control Alt Z takes us back. I can come back here and pick this pattern up now. Click here and click here, and notice what happens now as I start to get my pattern. Okay, I'm replicating my chain on her neck. You wouldn't know. Now I'm going to go View, Actual Pixels. You wouldn't know unless you really got in there that that chain really wasn't there. And notice that when I picked up this piece of the chain here, it even picked up her mole. If I want to go in and change that, I'm going to come in here. And again, I'm going to pick my rubber stamp up here, and I'm going to try and get it as close to this as possible so that I can get rid of that little pattern. I got to be careful because I got those feathered edges. In this case, this is perfect now for me to come in and get those really tight edges. Okay, I'm going to want to come in with a smaller pattern here to pick that up. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to come right there. And notice now, because I have those crisp edges, I've got that tight brush with no feather or no gradient around it. Now I've gotten rid of that mole, and it's tight. Those lines, that's real tight in there, so I don't have that feathered. Remember, with our skin tones, we probably want to have a more feathered look to it. Now, can I go back in here and finish this up? You bet. Actually, I'm going to come in here, get rid of this mole, because I don't have anything against moles, but I'm just trying to show you how great this pattern works. Now, here's a problem. I have two patterns right here. When we go back to normal size, you're probably not going to notice it, but I want it to look as realistic as possible. Notice that I've repeated the same pattern here, and I'm going to try and get rid of both of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in for a larger brush. I'm just going to kind of come up here and pick this up to get rid of. Now see, I got to be careful because now look, see the hard edge right here? That's not going to work for me. So I'm going to have to go back and get rid of that and go with something that's got the softer edges. Really want to keep with those softer edges. And I also probably want to come in here and work the pattern from a couple of different places. I want to be real careful. Oops. I want to be real careful on what pattern I pick up so that when I clean this up, it doesn't look like I've manipulated the drawing. I'm going to reselect up here and just kind of go through. You know, this is one of those situations where you really want to be careful and look at how all of this is laying out. Okay, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to try and finish my necklace, see how that works out. And again, I probably want to come right about here because I want to pick this up and really start to move my necklace in. Okay, because we want it to look as realistic as possible. And notice, this is kind of where the artist in you is going to come out. You're going to kind of have to look and see, how does that look? Now notice, one of the other things that I can do is I can clean up her neck. I can make her neck a little slimmer right there so that that necklace works. And I'm going to go back to my straight pattern, or my hard edges. I'm going to come back here. Let's see, was that big enough? It's too big. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do right here. I'll pick up a 9. Here's my black. I'm going to pick this up, and I'm just going to kind of come in here and clean her neck up a little bit. And I'm also, the other reason I'm doing this is I kind of want this necklace to look like it's going around. Okay, so now let's look out. Let's take a look. And notice now it looks like she has 2 necklaces on, and her neck's tightened up a little bit, and it looks as though I've got a hard necklace edge there and a hard necklace edge there. Amazing what you can do with Photoshop. Sometimes you're almost afraid now. You can never say photos don't lie, because in this case they probably could. If I wanted, you'll notice Blair has 2 earrings here. If I really wanted to go in and really, and you've probably seen this before, if I really wanted to make this wild, one of the things that I can do is actually just go in and I can actually duplicate that necklace. If I pick the right size brush, I can actually go in and make it look like Blair has probably 15 of these puppies. So I'm going to grab it, and I can make it look like Blair has a lot of pierced ears. I'm going to take that out, grab this again, because I'm going down now, and I want to show that. I'm going to grab this here, and then I'm going to come here, because remember, it grabs whatever you're grabbing here and puts it here. Well, when I grabbed this one here, and if I would have tried to put it here, it would have grabbed whatever is in relationship between these 2 items. Okay, the distance. Okay, so now I have this little earring hole right here I want to get rid of, because we don't want it to look like she's got another pierced ear. I'm just going to kind of grab this one right here and get rid of that, and what do you know, Blair looks like she's got 3 piercings. So if I go to view, I zoom in on the screen, notice I can go in, probably do a little bit of shading right here. In fact, what I probably could have done is used a bigger brush so that I had some of the outlying skin around it. So I picked up the shadow and it would look more realistic. Remember, this is the original earring here, and these 3 are the duplicates. If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know that she has this, let's see, sitting. Oh, I want to, gosh darn it, I want to show it. Oh, well, that is the biggest picture. You wouldn't know that she doesn't really have those earrings. You'd have to really, really pay attention. We got rid of her moles, except for that little freckle there. We added another necklace, and we added 3 more earrings, all with our rubber stamp tool. That's how easy and fun it is to use this. If you want to add clouds to a photograph, if you want to add people from one photograph to another, if you want to move them or duplicate them, or in fact, if you want to take them out, you can do that with this. The possibilities are endless. I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial on the rubber stamp tool. If you have any questions, give me a call, email me, or come by and see me.